Bumming with Bob. Let's have a few brews. We'll have some fun with the bum wine crew. So kick your feet up and grab you a beer. 'Cause damn, man, I'm glad that you're here.
All right. This is Bumwine Bob. Welcome to an all-new edition of Bum with Bobcat on Premier Podcast Network. And we are kicking it old school this week with a little solo shot action of just Bumwine Bob here on the podcast as we get you ready for Halloween right around the corner. Episode number 297 of the podcast right here. We are inching closer and closer to episode 300 and the big 300th episode extravaganza that we have in the works that you'll be able to hear all about soon enough as we work out the plans and the details of when we will be recording it and how you, the listeners and fans of the Bumcast, can be part of it as well. So be sure to stay tuned for that one because we're going big. We're going all out. For the 200th episode, we did the 200-ounce challenge with myself, Roadhouse, and some special guests. So for episode 300, we will have another lineup of some great drinks, some great beverages on hand. But before we get to episode 300, don't forget to tell your friends all about the podcast. Tell them to like, subscribe, rate, review Bum with Bobcat on all your favorite podcast apps. It's word of mouth that helps spread the word of the best of the worst of cheap booze here at the bottom shelf. Bum wine, beers, 40s, malt liquor, all the good stuff, all the classics that people grew up on. We cover each and every week or bi-weekly as Apple Podcasts likes to categorize it as a bi-weekly podcast on Apple Podcast or iTunes. What are they calling it these days? Who knows? But either way, if you're a fan of the show, be sure to tell your friends about the podcast. And if you know somebody who loves the bottom shelf and all the cheap booze that we enjoy here every episode of the show, just spread the word. Tell them to check out Bumming with Bobcat. But before we get into what we have on tap here today, as I said, it's a special quick shot of Bumwine Bob here this week. But first and foremost, I'm going to crack open a nice High Life here as they have some new packaging out on the 12-pack boxes and the 30-pack cases of celebrating the 120th anniversary of the High Life, born in 1903, and we are in 2023 now. So you at home, you can do the math right there. That's 120 years of the High Life. So cheers, High Life. That's the champagne of beers right there, becoming one of the, it's always been one of my favorites, one of the classic beers, and a beer that's still fairly cheap. Roadhouse and I talked about it on the previous episode when we mixed up a little High Life Four Loko concoction, but it's, these days prices keep creeping up, every little thing. The High Life is still one of the relatively cheaper beers you can pick up depending on what state and what location you're in. And it's the best bang for the buck, and that's what we do here. We try to give you guys the best bang of the buck when it comes to alcohol. If it's beers, anything along those lines, we try to cover you the best bang for the buck that can get you a good buzz. Ooh, there we go. People will love that one, right, Efren? Cheers, buddy. But, yes, the High Life here, the champagne of beers, always a classic. We're still waiting for that official High Life sponsorship. While we have the Reverend Bumwine Bob here, the officiant of the High Life, it would be nice to get the official beer backing of the High Life behind the podcast and Bumwine Bob because we have the Four Loko sponsorship, quote unquote, and everything that entails with my nice little sticker here, sponsored by Four Loko, the shirt, all the other goodies that they sent over here. And if you listen to the previous episode we did last week, Roadhouse and myself cracked open the Four Loko Pregame, the Loko USA, and then I also brought along the other variety of pregame that I didn't have yet, and that was the Four Loko Pregame, the Wicked Tea. Now, at the time of the recording, those were all the flavors I had, and I had the whole list covered except for one. And the only one I was missing was the Four Loko Pregame Sour Grape. Now, wouldn't you know, we record that episode. A week later, I'm out in my travels. What do I find sitting on the shelf in one of the stores I go to? Four Loko Pregame Sour Grape, the Four Loko shot, right here. So, we have to cap off the Four Loko Pregame as we're doing a shot here of the podcast. So what better time than now to crack open the Four Loko Pregame, the Sour Grape. I put it in the freezer before, made sure I had it nice and chilled, nice and cold here. So let's crack this guy open. Ooh, it's got that grape. Because we said before, the grape is a tricky flavor always, because there are some good grape ones, but there are those ones that just taste like grape cough medicine. And this one here, it has a smell similar to the grape ice pops. The plastic flavor. I don't know what the hell the official names are, but the summertime little plastic ones you cut the top off of the ice pop. Smells just like that. So let's give this guy a shot here. The Four Loko Pregame, Four Loko shot, Sour Grape. Cheers. Wow, that's pretty good. Definitely just a slight hint of sour. Not too much, as I said before. I don't like when they go a little too over the top with the sour flavor in the drinks. But this one here, that's pretty good. It does taste like once that ice pop melts down and you're drinking the juice that's left in there, that's essentially what this one here tastes like. And that's good. That's a solid Four Loko Pregame right there. Four Loko, kudos to you and the Sour Grape, because that is a damn good drink right here. But that will cap off the official lineup as of recording today and the release of this podcast. I now have every flavor on hand. I've tried all the pregames. We'll go down the list quick. They have the sour apple, sour blue raz, sour peach, the sour grape I just tried, lemonade, wicked tea, and Loko USA. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's 7 varieties of the pregame that are out there, and I have now tried all of them. And if you go in the archives, it was at the puttcast that I did on location at the golf outing in June of 2022, where I had picked up the first 1, 2, 3, 4 of them and tried them out while I was doing the live podcast from the outing, and then came back, kind of did a little recap, and did a Four Loko Pregame power rankings that you can find on the website at bumwinebob.com, where I ranked each of them, gave my thought, and said, okay, what was the top ones at the time? And I believe it was the Four Loko Pregame, the lemonade, that was the number 1 ranked out of there. But this means now that I've hit all of them, that we will be revisiting the Four Loko Pregame power rankings for 2023. and you could be looking for that soon. I'll have to, now I haven't had all of them recently. I still have them on hand, so I'll take the time to sit down, try it out again, give it a shot, and see which ones rank the highest, because I'm going to do a pregame power rankings, and before the end of this year, we will also be doing a standard Four Loko power rankings of the flavors that I've had throughout the course of this year. Because I think as of now, I think I've hit 8 or 9 different flavors of Four Loko, different varieties that I've cracked open throughout this year. Going back to some classic ones we did, the peach, fruit punch, the red, the gold, the USA, sour melon, whatever other ones that I forgot about. I still have a couple other ones to crack open and try again. So you can be looking forward to a nice Four Loko power rankings as well. So a few treats to look forward to before the end of this year, as we inch closer and closer, as we said, to episode 300 of the podcast. And this grape is good. Solid flavor there of the pregame. Four Loko Pregame and the High Life. You can't go wrong there, people. It's the two classics, 2 American stalwarts right there that you can't go wrong with when it comes to drinking on a budget. And as we said, I forget the exact price of the pre-games, but they're relatively cheap when you look at the other drinks in that market, cheaper than the can. And it's interesting to see what holds next, if there'll be more pre-games coming out, because Four Loko doesn't push it too much as they used to when the Four Loko pre-games first came out, but they're still out there on the website. And Four Loko, the website, has also switched all the alcohol percentages on all the drinks to now match the 13.9% out there. So for the ones that were 14 to 13.9, the big controversy that we're still trying to get to the bottom of. So Big Loko, let us know what the story is with that switch from 14% to 13.9. But on that note, we're going to wrap things up here this week. As I said, it's just a old school quick shot of the Bumcast here with Bumwine Bob and Bum with Bobcat on Premier Podcast Network. Be sure to leave a review, rate, subscribe, tell your friends about the best of the worst in cheap booze at bumwinebob.com. Don't forget to check out this Four Loko Pregame, the Sour Grape. Pretty good. And stay tuned for those power rankings, and stay tuned for episode number 300, the big extravaganza, and how you can be a part of it, coming your way soon. So until next time, cheers.
I need a beer.